I have been asked to introduce my good friend, Laurie Pung. I love Laurie. She's easy to love. I didn't know her last August, the 1st of August, and I put out on the Brightest Cedars of, yeah. Anyway, that I needed a good mastermind group. I'd had several, but they'd kind of fallen apart and I needed a new one. and, and she was the first to respond. And I was so thankful. And she and some other people came in, and I love them dearly. They are my sisters. This one's going to stick. I know it. It's going to stick. And her demeanor is so special to me. She is sweet. She is highly educated. She is very spiritual. She's musical, which I am not. So I really appreciate that. She's such a good mom, such a good grandma. She is everything rolled into one cute little package. And she has been doing BLE for a year and a half. And she's going to tell you more about her journey and her family, but I just want to introduce my really good friend, Laurie Pung.
I feel like I'm among family and friends here, and it means so much to me. I feel, I've been crying all morning. I'm so grateful to know you all and to know new people that I didn't even know that I would want to know. And I'm going to tell you a quick little story first before I start. I'm an ordinance worker at the Ochre Mountain Temple. And when I go there, I have a lunch break and a bunch of us sit there for a little while and get to talk and just be part of each other's lives. And I learn things about people that I never would have imagined. And just hearing their stories is my favorite thing. So I always come home and my husband says, "What are your lunchroom stories?" And I tell him about the people that I've met and loved and gotten to hear their hearts. And that's what I feel like this is all about. Being with you, being with all of these wonderful people. I'm going to read something that Peggy wrote in a little bit. And she talked about how this is an elite group. And that's what I feel like it is. It feels like people that are kind of next level, people that want to do things, even when they're hard, people that want to reach that higher place and be something better and try to do things that will bring them to a new place. So with that, we're going to talk about creating connection. And there's so many elements to it, but it is just being heart to heart. We have to stop doing that. But feeling each other's hearts and feeling each other's hopes and dreams. So I'm really, really happy to be here together with Bright Line people, because being together is always better than being alone. Have you ever felt like you were just all alone and sat in your closet and cried? I've been there lots of times. And then thinking, what am I ever going to do? How can I ever get through this hard thing that I'm doing right now? And then what did you do after that? Did you isolate, crawl back in bed, cover yourself up and just say, what's the use? I can't do it. I'm all by myself. No. And have you ever met somebody and on the street or anywhere and they say, how are you doing? And even though you're not, you say, oh, I'm great. You kind of lie. I've been caught in that lie before and felt like, I just can't open up because these people won't understand me. But this is a place we do understand each other, isn't it? And oh, what a world of difference for me and for you. Okay, here's a quote from our favorite Joanne Campbell Rice. When you feel hopeless, that's exactly when you need to reach out and get an infusion. I love that word, an infusion of hope from someone else, because you cannot manufacture it on your own. Do we know that's true? How many people know that's true? You can't do it by yourself. Whether you're talking to other people or we're talking to our higher power, our God, that's where it comes from when we're together. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my life, my story, my family. I am the oldest of 7 children. That's my cute little mom and dad. And being the oldest brought a lot of responsibility, a lot of, oh my goodness, so much heavy duty responsibility. The message I always heard was, you need to be the very best example to your brothers and sisters. You need to do all the things right because they're watching you. They are going to watch everything you do. They're taking notes and they're going to make sure that they follow you. So you better be good. And I loved that Joanne talked about this last night, that, how do you be good? What does being good really mean? How do you be better than you already are? And so to me, that was translated in my head as always feeling like, well, I'm by myself in this. This is my role. I'm the oldest. I'm the example maker. And I just have to do it by myself. Nobody else can do it because I'm the only one that's the oldest. And so I internalized that. I took it on. It was a heavy, heavy burden. And so, see if you recognize this. As that feeling of being the only one, when I felt like I didn't measure up, which was lots of times, I would try to soothe myself by finding treats, finding things that made me feel happier and comfortable and gave me some sweetness. Do you know who Carol Tuttle is? She talked one time about, why do we like sweets? Maybe it's because we're missing some sweetness in our lives. And so we look for it in that way. So we'll get back to that. But I love that we find it different ways now. But I would isolate. I would go sneak, like Joanne said she did, in the pantry in the middle of the night. My parents had this pantry full of food storage, like a lot of us do, right? But they had like these big, I don't even know how big, maybe 5-gallon containers of dried fruit. And I would go dig in there for all the cherries at night. And I would store them and hide them like a little chipmunk in my room. And I would go for whatever was good. Later on, because I kept doing this, I guess I was a little chunky. And I didn't really think about it, but my dad did. Bless his heart, he was trying to help me. I know he was trying to help me. But because we would have family treats, they would make brownies and ice cream and do all those things. And then he would say, you probably shouldn't. Or he'd say, no, you really can't. And so instead of having that little bit that I would have had with everybody else, I would sneak back out at night and have my big bowl. And because I didn't want to be left out. And I felt like I was being punished. So that story goes on and on and on. And then I grew up and got married, and I had 6 little kids. And that's lots of years ago. Now I have 13 grandkids. But that was a ton of heavy duty responsibility too. You all feel that, I'm sure. And as I went through life with them, I kept doing this yo-yo thing. How can I ever measure up? How can I ever hold on to this heavy responsibility? And here I was, alone again. I was the mom. I had to be strong. I had to be good. And I was still the oldest sibling, so they were watching me still. And so I was trying to be good. So this pattern continued. Has anybody else felt this pattern in their lives over and over and over again? So as my kids were older, and as my husband and I continued our life, I was still on the yo-yo on the train, going back and forth, up and down, feeling that weight. Isn't that interesting? I just thought about that. How we call it a weight of responsibility, and we carry it in our bodies. Yeah. So, like probably most of you, I tried everything, everything. I think every diet known to man, I tried. I read all the books. I even went to medical weight loss, starting when I was, I think, 17. My dad sent me to a weight loss doctor, and they told me, oh my goodness, we're going to help you with this because it's really a big problem. And my dad would tell me, I shouldn't tell all these things, but I feel like it's our stories. But he told me probably a really good man wouldn't want you if you didn't have a certain look. And I believed it because I love my dad and I wanted to please him. So I did all those things. And then later on, many years later, I did medical weight loss too. And I took the fen. I did all the things like that too. And hopefully it didn't damage my heart too much because I remember that was really, really strong and really hard. But it always was a pattern that kept continuing. I kept over and starting over. What will work? What will work? What will work? And have you ever just looked at somebody that's lost a lot of weight and go, what did you do? How did you do that? Oh, and I was always looking for the magic formula, just always looking for that. But again, I was doing it alone, completely alone. I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to reveal my deep, dark failures. Oh my goodness. So then one time in my adult life, I had some success with getting in better shape. And I joined a challenge with my sister and a bunch of friends, and we were accountable to each other. We talked every day, and we had to weigh in on Monday and talk about it. And I actually did really, really well. And it was about the connection. I really realize that now. It was all about that connection that we had. Problem was, it ended. There was an end to the challenge. So once again, there I was, looking for a new thing. Again, starting over. Then when we moved to Utah 7 years ago, I grew up in Southern California in this beautiful little sweet retirement town of Hemet. So it used to be a beautiful place. It was just a picturesque little quiet town off the beaten path. Now it's not a very happy place. It's really sad. But I grew up there, and all of our kids that planned to come back to Utah or back to California after they got settled and everything never did. They all ended up around here. So we moved up here 7 years ago. And by then I had 13 grandkids, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to be the best grandma in the world. And so in my grandma thinking mind, I thought, I'm going to bake for them. I'm going to bake with them. I'm going to make all the treats. I'm going to be the favorite treat grandma. That's what we're going to do. And so I did all those things. But who ate 90% of it? I did. You know, they had fun doing it, but then they were just like done, and I wasn't. And I would eat it all night and all day till it was all gone. So a year and a half ago, I had been praying, well, 2 years and probably many years, but at least 2 years ago, I'd been praying for so long to find the real answer to what I needed, to finally get out of the alone place that I was in, the trying to do every single thing by myself and feeling ashamed if I couldn't. And one day I opened up Facebook and I saw my friend Naomi Fox Reyna. She's wonderful. She does lots of amazing things. But she got on there, and I'm going to read to you what she said, because it hit me in a way that I'd never thought before could. She said, I've been in an abusive relationship. And, you know, I knew her pretty well. And I thought, she's in this wonderful marriage. She's got a great family. Oh no, what's going on? Anyway, she said, and I've been keeping it a secret. Relationship has been something that has brought me what I thought was great joy at times. It filled my world with comfort, color, and wonder. I've lived for it, obsessed over it, held great desire for the object of my affection. At times, it felt like the only reason for living, but it hasn't been reciprocal. I've given great devotion to this relationship, but it has not been loving back. It has been hurting me deeply. In fact, it could even kill me. After being in this relationship over 3 decades, I finally started seeing it for what it really was, but I didn't want to acknowledge what I was being shown. I wasn't ready to walk away. I wanted to keep insisting that it was not a problem. I even believed that I could not live without it. And as I sat with the idea of walking away, it actually filled me with terror. But as I've stepped back, I could see, tried to walk away, I get pulled back in, and it feels so worst. But as always, it leaves me worse off in the end. Over and over, I've tried to shift it, change the boundaries. I've even completely left it multiple times. But now I cannot unsee what I have seen. Now I'm ready, and I have a plan, a bright plan. I don't know what the future holds, but for today, I'm done with food addiction. After months and months of praying this into my life, I come to see that I cannot allow my life. They have been hurting me. They're poison to me. They felt in the moment. Just like an abusive relationship, they don't love me back. I've given my all to them and left them and been left with less than nothing, yet always wanting more. The promise of enjoyment is always embellished, and I'm left without. I'm aware that people simply won't understand. How could someone understand that has never been in an abusive relationship before? They wouldn't be able to comprehend why it would be such a problem. And that's okay. I'm finally clear enough to see my journey for what it is and finally ready to take the first steps. I'm finally ready to love me more than toxic food. Wow. When I read that, I said, what is this bright plan? What in the world? I have to know about it. So I was jumping on there saying, what are you talking about? What is this that you're going to do? How could you ever actually say, I'm done with it and really be done, like forever? I really didn't think it was possible. So she told me about Brightline. That very day, I ordered the book on my Audible books, and I ordered the hard copy so I could have it for reference. And I read like all night long so that I could know what this big secret was. I had to know. And wow, what a whole new world. And then I saw people commenting on Naomi's posts that were saying, yes, we're so happy because we do this. And it's brought all this new circle into our lives of people that are feeling bright and happy too. And I thought, you mean there's a lot of people that do this? What? Oh, how could I get to be part of this? I knew it was about the connection right away because I'd never done anything except that one little short challenge that I did that was about connection, that was being friends with all these people that were doing the same thing. That was a hard thing. My family thought, there is no way you can do this because, well, I have to tell you, my grandkids, my nickname was Sugar. And the other kids call me Sweet Grandma, because not because I'm so nice, but because I'm the sweets grandma. I was in my former life. And they really thought there is no possible way. They thought it was just another phase, just another way to get to the next thing and the next thing. So I said, nope, guess what? I have found that there's a whole bunch of people that have done this. So if somebody else can do it, I think I can. And I thought about Susan Pierce Thompson. So grateful for her. So grateful for the inspiration that she followed when she knew she had to write about this and tell people and share what she learned after all of her struggles. And I thought, if she can give up all of those addictions and get past them and be living this happy, bright life, surely I can do sugar and flour. I'm sitting here, you're Kathy, right? Kathy was a leader in my first homeroom, right? Yeah. And this is Kathy Lehman, if you don't know her. Can you stand up so they can see you? Because she's been a great example to me for the whole time that I've been doing this. I'm so honored that you're sitting here right in front of me. And so many of you can't even start. It was all about the connection. And I learned that right away when I went into D2, the homeroom, right? I kind of missed that. I know we have new ways, but that was a really solid building block for me. You know, Brene Brown, we love her, don't we? She says, if we can share our story with someone who responds with empathy and understanding, shame cannot survive. Let that sink in for a second. If we can share our story with somebody that actually has empathy for us, we don't have to be ashamed anymore at all. We're all walking a path together. Here's our girl. Love her so much. This is a quote from her Resume book. She says, while it's tempting to want to do your work in isolation so you can present yourself back to the world at some imagined later date, having fixed yourself and lost the weight, the fact is that you need support now. Has anyone else had this mindset and strategy? I was always setting goals for the next Thanksgiving or the next family vacation or my birthday or something like that. And I wouldn't tell anybody. I would just be working really hard and then falling off. I'm working really hard. Oh my goodness. I was so tired of that and so glad to be off that treadmill. She goes on to say, you will heal faster and more sustainably if you foster and nurture your healthiest connections as part of your process and practice. Humans thrive in community. Here's another quote. She says, support is at the very core of our bright line identity. We all have some level of fear and discomfort at the thought of being ostracized or looking different. I still, once in a while, have a little twinge of that when I go somewhere with my little green beans and my little whatever I have in my thing. In my temple lunchroom, I'm known as the green bean girl because that's a fast thing. I can eat it a lot faster than a salad. I don't have very long there. So they go, so the green bean girl is here again. And I go, proudly and happily. I'm not the sweet grandma. I'm the green bean grandma. Ugh. My daughter, for a long time, that was my go-to vegetable for lunch. And so my daughter says, you should write a book that says how I got my health back with green beans. She thinks it's really funny. Anyway, this is why it's so important and so wonderful that we're still building our support and friendships right here in the BLE community. She says, once we build a support community within our Bright Line Eating, once we have people in our lives who follow the same lines as we do, who matter to us, who we talk to on a regular basis, who we care about, whose weddings we attend, whose losses we mourn, then we won't stop being bright because it's too threatening to our membership in that community of people that matter to us so very much. Human connection can ease that moment of tension when we really, really are tempted to break our lines. If we're in the middle of the battle between controller and indulger, there is nothing like a phone call or an actual connection with somebody bright to get us back out of that situation alive. This is because support is the most effective replenisher of our willpower battery. I think we know this now, don't we? So, who has an emergency action plan? One of my very first emergency action plans that I actually used was Marco Polo. I never used Marco Polo in my life before this. I thought, it's weird videoing myself and talking. I just thought, oh, I can't do that. But now I don't know what I'd do without it. So one of my very first emergency action plans was being in this group of people that I was talking to that were Bright Line people, that when I would be driving by somewhere that I used to just pull into really quick and grab a treat, I would jump on my Marco Polo and say, I'm going here. I can't go here, right? I'm bookending, I'm talking, we're talking now. And oh my goodness, that saved my life so many times. Oh, wow, what a great plan. So Susan says, how do you know if you're getting enough support? How do you know? Because we could say, well, I've got a buddy, I'm good. But she says, here's the quote. She says, research shows, oh no, If in the bar graph of your life, you feel like the support bar is higher than your stress bar, that's when you know. That's when you know you've got enough. And do you all feel like that? Do you all feel like that in this community? Oh my goodness, there's so many ways. Okay, so research shows that deep, meaningful human connections are the most critical factor in leading a life of flourishing and well-being. Let's nurture that. I love that. I thought about the flowers when I heard that, because I thought we want to flourish. We don't want to be, I felt like I was being stuck, pounded down all the time in that world of aloneness before, but now we can flourish and we can be together and we can feel, I look around this room, it looks like a bunch of beautiful flowers, a beautiful flower garden. And we're flourishing because of it. Okay, so you could listen to me for a long time, but I have some experts that are going to tell you some more things. So the first one is going to be Laurie. Can you stand up for a second? Raise your hand. You met Laurie this morning. She's amazing. So listen to how the many different ways she gets support and what it looks like.
Hi, my name is Laurie Foote. I started doing Bright Line Eating in 2019. I'm kind of an isolator, so I started out doing it just from the book. But after a month or so, I realized I needed more support. Doing it alone wasn't going to work for me. And even though it was a huge investment as a retired widow, I had to be careful with my money. I knew that I would get the most out of that money that I could. So I came all the way in and sat all the way down. I stuck to the plan. And even though it took me a year and a half, I lost over 100 pounds and got happy, thin, and free. And all through that journey, it was my mastermind group that would keep me on track, reminding me of my why and helping me to focus on the goal. And now in maintenance, it's my Gideon Games team that keeps me safe, cheers me on, lifts me when I get discouraged, strengthens my program, and understands my whacked out relationship with food. I also have another Marco Polo group that's from my weight loss house. And even though we live all over the country and most of us haven't actually met in person, we are in contact daily and lift and support each other through all of life's joys and sorrows. I have so many friends here, lifelong friendships with amazing women. I know I wouldn't have stayed in this long if it weren't for the relationships and connections I've made. That is what makes this a program I want to do for the rest of my life.
Thanks, Laurie. Another expert we have here.
My
Listen to
name
Laura.
is Laura Mather, and I've been doing Bright Line Eating since August of 2020. I've lost 80 pounds. And in the beginning, I was on an unofficial Gideon's game. And I did that over and over for a whole year with different people and different connections. And that was great. Wonderful people that I met. But I learned what true connection was when I got on my current Gideon's Games team, an official one. And these ladies support and love me unconditionally. And I have learned to trust them with my struggles and know that I can call any one of them and they will reach out, help me, call me, whatever I need to help me be bright. And I appreciate that so much. So that is true connection. Also, I was thinking about if I had to give up my addiction. So if I never had an addiction, which would mean I would never meet the people that I have met today, I think I would choose having the addiction because these ladies are so important in my life. It's amazing how I can be this close to women all over the United States who I love and can appreciate so much. They are there for me. And that has helped my program so much. I used to be afraid that if I went off plan, I would gain all the weight back. And now I know I have an army of sisters to help me. these women are amazing and won't let me fail. They will reach out and help me and help me through any struggles that I have. And, you know, I can't do that with anybody else. No one else truly understands this addiction and what I've been through. And I can't be honest with them about what's truly going on in my life. So what a blessing it is to have true connection with these ladies, and a joy it is to have them in my life. And I know that my program is strong because of the connections I have with them.
Thanks, Laura. So that's a pretty powerful statement, that she would rather have had to deal with addiction than miss out on this community and have these friends. I think I feel that too. Wow. Okay. Helene, here she is.
Hi, I'm Kelleen Facer, and I
Can
have
you
been
hear?
doing Brightline meetings since October of 2018. I started just reading the book, and then I did it for a while, lost 30 pounds, went on a cruise, came back and gained it all back. And then on January 1st of 2020, I decided to get all the way in and sit all the way down, and I joined Grit. And when I joined Grit, SPT said to get a buddy. So I went on the list and I got a buddy in New York, and she has been my buddy ever since. And we talk every day pretty much, and we give each other our food. And she has helped me so much. One time she was going to a therapist just after we had gotten together. We got so close so fast. And she asked, why would we get so close so fast? And the therapist said, it's because food is the most intimate part of who you are. And when you share your intimate part of who you are with other people, you get close really fast. And we did. And we've stayed really close. We landed the plane together 3 years ago, and we've been in maintenance ever since. And it's been an amazing ride. In the meantime, I have been able to join a Gideon Games teams. I've had a few different Gideon Games teams, and they've been miraculous. I've been able to be a leader. And right now I'm in a Gideon Games team with the greatest women. And I have just met some of my lifelongest friends that I will ever have. It's because we're doing it together. We're addicts of food, and we're able to do it together and be strong together. It's amazing. I also had a mastermind group, and I have since had a couple of different mastermind groups. The mastermind groups have helped me so much. And again, it's all about the community. It's growing together, but they've guided me on different things that I've needed. And one of the things that I needed was parts work, and that's been an amazing gift. It helped me through so much. And now I am so much better than I've ever been. I also have to say that the community is what's built us strong. That's what's given me the strength to keep going and to be able to stay in maintenance. I love the community. Some of my best friends that I will ever have, and we're doing it together.
Isn't she cute? I love her. This is Suzanne. She's on my Gideon Games team also, and she lives in Missouri, and she couldn't come. But listen to her heart.
Good morning. My name is Suzanne Fricky, and I live in Omaha, Nebraska. In the end of April 2022, I read Susan Pierce Thompson's book and jumped in with full feet, both feet. Connection is so very important. What it means to me is waking up every day and reaching out to somebody from Brightline Eating. And it's usually my Gideon's Game group. We are very tight, very close knit. And they have become my very best friends. I am down around 87 pounds in a year. And I am so very thankful for each and every one of my Brightline Eating LDS friends who I reach out to and speak with every day. If ever anybody is looking and needs a buddy or anybody to reach out to, I am more than willing to listen. Thank you.
So don't you love how, because she feels so much gratitude for this, she wants to pay it forward? That's what I love about this too. It's not just about what we're going to get. It's about how we can give back. Couple more.
Hi, Brightline Eating friends.
You know
This is Janelle
Janelle?
Huntsman, and I live in North Ogden.
She's great.
And I was not aware that food addiction was a thing, but I was experiencing it. And the cycles of despair and self-loathing, the overeating and an inability to control myself. And one day it hit me. I'm like, you act like an addict. And I wondered, is that even a thing? When upon little internet search, I found Brightline Eating. And I was so thrilled to find that there's a whole community of people who struggle. But that connection was not enough for me. I needed the individual connection. And so in another one of those cycles of despair, I saw a Facebook post of someone reaching out to fill another spot in a mastermind group. And that has made all the difference. I first started the personal connections in the mastermind group, that we helped each other live the BLE lifestyle and encourage and support each other. And then with the Gideon Games teams, and now I feel such a part of this community, so many good friends. I'm telling you, the personal connections have saved me. My path to recovery has not been easy, nor an uphill or a downhill, whichever way you look at it, straight line. It has been torturous, but I am still here because of the personal connections. And I love the people that I have met in Brightline Eating, and I am so willing to help anyone who needs help. All right. I love you guys. Bye.
Don't you love how she said, even though it's been uphill, it's been really hard and it's still not easy for her. She's here because she has this community. We don't want to give it up. It's the best part. Okay. One more. Jennifer. She's so great. Here we go.
Hi, all of my BLE sisters. And that's exactly what connection is about. It's about being together in something hard. It's about like connecting with each other because we are doing the same kinds of things. We believe in the same kinds of things, and we can help each other be strong in those things. It's so awesome to talk to my BLE sisters. I'd like to say brothers, but I don't have any BLE brothers, but I have lots of BLE sisters. I have my mastermind group that I started with from the boot camp. I have my boot camp house, which we stayed really strong, a group of us together for a year or two, a couple of years, calling on the phone and stuff. And it was great and really helped me get a good, strong foundation. And my mastermind group, we're still together. It's been over 5 years now, and I love them all so much. And I hope one day that we can all fly to Florida and visit Susan and have a good time there. And I think it helps us stay strong. I know like there's times that one of us might have given up, any one of us in my mastermind group would have given up, except that every Sunday we're on the call with each other. And I think that keeps us going and trying again, even when things go rough. And then I have my awesome Gideon Games group, which is amazing. And I love them all so much. And connection is like, when you're in the area and you say, hey, anybody have time to meet? They meet. And we go on hikes together. We eat out together. And it's so nice because we all are doing the same thing. And that's just super awesome. And then I have another mastermind group with people that live in Canada and Colorado. And I'm making connections with them. And there's so much that we can do to strengthen each other and to help each other. And that's what having connections in Brightline Eating is all about. I'm so grateful for Brightline Eating and for the connections I have here. They're amazing. And they're so good, like on Marco Polo or, Messenger, email, whatever, that when I see people for the first time in person, I don't feel like it's the first time. I feel like I've known them forever, and it's so amazing. So I love you all. I look forward to getting to know more of you. And that's all. Bye.
Isn't she so cute? I love her. So I think we all could kind of tell the same stories, couldn't we? We all feel that peace and that connection that brings us here and keeps us going. So how do we do it? How do we really make that connection? I have a new friend here. Her name is Kim Jarrett. Can you raise your hand, Kim? And I just love when people reach out, because she reached out on Facebook a week or two ago, and she just said, I just need to find some connection. So I messaged her back, and now I have a new friend that I love so much. And it happens that fast because we do have so much in common. So grateful. She was looking for buddies. Okay. I want to know if you have a tribe. Do you feel like this is your tribe? And by tribe, I mean people that you can talk to about your personal, deep, dark things that you just don't want to tell anybody else, but you feel safe there. You feel like that's okay. You can talk to them. And it's safe. It really is. That's who your real tribe is. And that's what we're looking for. Behind every successful woman or man is another successful person who has their back, right? There's nothing better than that. But these are people that have found a lot of connection in their programs that have made them feel like they are really a true bright lifer now. And Sheena, but she got back in a while ago and said, you know what? I'm not just going to sit at home and do this anymore. I'm going to actually get involved in a whole bunch of groups and give a lot of service. And as she did, she's been more successful than she ever thought she could be. This is my wonderful friend, Jean Fisher. She is in the mastermind group that Peggy and I are in. And she lives in Montana, right? And she's taking care of her husband who isn't well. But this is her connection because she has us. And she can't be around. She lives far, far from everybody else, but she has us. And so she feels like she can stay strong and connected because of that. She's got a cute story. Facebook, we have meetups that we're trying to do all the time. We've had these luncheons at Who Hot. Who's been to Who Hot? It's a fun place. And we all go and just get to talk and meet each other in person. So fun. These are all the things. If you're a subscribed member, oh my goodness, there's so many things that are available to you if you're subscribed. Because almost everybody that I've talked to has felt like, you know, I can just do it by myself. It's really okay. I can just read the book. I'm just good. Or I can do unofficial things. And that's true. You can. But when you're a subscribed member, you have accountability calls like we were talking about with Joanne. Oh, what a wealth of wisdom. Like Wendy said, she is the wisest. Coaching calls. That's how I first found my first buddies, as I got on coaching calls and put my little wish list on in the chat. And I got some really good friends. I have some in New York. I have some in Hawaii. I have people all over the place. Fifth Bright Line calls. That helps people that have bulimia or other eating disorders with Dr. Joy. She's amazing. All the new videos that are coming out. And as you give service, it's like, I'm a rapid eye technician. I love it. And, but I'm a Reiki master. So when I give a session, I feel like I get a session. So that's what I feel like in this community. As you give service, you are served. You are receiving just as much, if not more, than what you give. We all know Beth. How much service has Beth given? And it's serving us all, isn't it? Annie, you're here, aren't you? Yes. Annie is one of those ones that said, you know what? I love this community. I'm going to jump in and help too. And I've seen her doing lots of behind the scenes things. And what a gem she is because of that. I've just seen so much. Peggy, my favorite Peggy. She's so fun. She said in her little testimonial that she would never want to give up this elite group of friends. How do you feel about that? It feels to me that it is true because we are that group that's trying to level up and trying to be in a place that there's so many that won't. And I don't ever want to leave it. Marco Polo groups, we talked about that. If you don't think you want to, just try it. It's really fun. Gideon games. These are some of my favorite people. Oh, more of us. So the energy connection is the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship. That's another Brene Brown quote. I love how she says we derive sustenance from it, because we don't have to go hide in the food closet and eat the cherries out of the dry fruit, right? We can derive sustenance from the relationships and the sweet friendships that we have with all of these people that are leveling up. Shauna, do you all know Shauna? Of course, we all love Shauna. How many people? I bet there's a billion people in this room even that have been helped and guided by Shauna, either directly or indirectly. I've been an indirect one, but I love her so much. So I'm going to read you this and then we'll end up, because she wrote a little thing about why she loves what she does. And I feel to say that her words are now my words too, because it's definitely in my heart. She says, it's interesting to me that the very thing I avoided during decades of dieting was connection. I thought, I got this. I got into this mess by myself. I could figure out how to get out of it by myself. I would always diet in secret. Even though I was part of a popular weight loss group where a group of us would meet each week, I made a point of not connecting with fellow members because I didn't want to be accountable to anyone or have anyone be accountable to me. When I found Bright Lane Eating and heard the community service and connection were a part of that success that so many were having, I didn't want any of that. Can you believe that? That's hard to believe now. It's too much work. I'm an introvert, is what I would think. I truly thought I was the exception and could do this alone. I wasn't going to pay for a subscription and be locked into any commitments to a bunch of people. I laugh now about my way of thinking in the beginning. I began my Bright Lane journey in full secrecy and didn't even tell my husband for 3 months. Wow. To my surprise, I was given a free subscription to boot camp. And then as a Bright Lifer, through a contest I didn't even know I entered. This is when my whole life changed. And I realized the very thing that I was avoiding my whole life living with an obesity was connection, support, and community. Recovery from addiction can only happen with community and support. Secrets lose their power when light from others is provided. Oh, I think I need to put that on my fridge. As I guide others, lead Gideon game teams, take food and bookending commitments, Marco Polo with other Bright Lifers, and meet monthly with those who in the area I live in, I find that more space opens up for my recovery. Paying it forward and giving hope to others reinforces my own bright lines. It's through these opportunities that I am reminded where I have been and don't wish to go back to, as well as rejoice in the miracle of food neutrality and peace that I heard was possible, but until I experienced it myself, could not believe it was possible. Who would have guessed that just 4 bright lines and a community of wonderful people just like me would be the key to unlock the joy that I had prayed decades for? Thank you, Shauna. Oh my goodness, that is completely my heart. And I know I'm so late. I'm so sorry, but I love you all. And I'm so eternally grateful for all of the commitment, the connection, the joy, and the service that we feel with each other. And thank you so much.